Hi, I'm Monty McKinnon. Thank you for joining me. Today we've got a lot to cover. I want to talk to you specifically about how not to glue a back onto the rims of the guitar, because you can run into trouble, as I did. And I'm going to explain all of that as soon as we spin that intro, which is coming up right now. All right, let's talk about the back of this guitar. And I'm going to show you how we got here and all the details as to how we got all of this in here, and everything that's to this stage you're going to see in great detail, and you'll see that in just a moment. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the go bar and cutting the slots and putting the bracing in. And as you can see in this particular shot here, I have the bracing already slotted and on to the first brace. Now the thing I want you to notice about this is the square, because I use the square up against the piece that comes right down the back that is a support piece. I hold it there, I put the glue on the brace, put it onto the slot and into the guitar, but I make sure I've got it square based on that particular square. And I do that going all the way down the guitar. As you can see here, I've now gone down 3 more slots, and I have not yet put the glue on the piece that's going on the diagonal. Now, the diagonal piece, as you can see, is in here, and the reason for that is to add support, because we got this cutaway. And I'll tell you about the cutaway because I didn't do that right either. And there you have a picture of everything glued in, and I've removed it. I bring it over here to the bench, and what I've done is I've put a ruler across the back, because I very carefully marked where I want everything lined up. Now take a look at this. This is what we have here. This is in the form, and what I did is I took the back and I laid the back down here. I then set the form on here, and I had the centerpiece marked here, the centerpiece marked here, on here, and on here. This just happens to be the top. So I set that on there very carefully, made sure I had it all lined up, and then I started to mark each piece, as you can see here in this particular snapshot. Now, I've obviously carved the braces and sanded them down, and I'll show you how I got that to that position. But you notice the little 2 marks that I've got on the form here. It's right at the edge. But what happened to me when I was actually doing that, little did I took great care to make sure this was straight and didn't move, and I took this very fine pencil and marked it. Exaggerated, this is what happened. It moved on me, and I didn't see it. It may have been a 32nd of an inch or thereabouts, and what that did is it threw my back off on the lineup from here to here. Now the way I fixed that was I had to cut through the edge of the guitar frame, which you'll see here in a picture. You can see where I had marked that out with the pencil, with that ruler that was running across, so I knew exactly where I was to cut. Now here you can see how I have used the router to cut out each of the slots that we're going to drop the bracing into, so that it will not only glue the brace to the side, but it will also glue the top, or in this case the back, onto the back, so it'll be nice and secure. Now, in order to make sure I've got that at exactly a 60 thousandths of an inch in depth, you can see that I've taken my jig here and set it on the router plate, and I have it adjusted right to the perfect mark that is the depth gauge here, which you'll see me use again as I put that on the edge of the bracing to make sure I've got the bracing right, but it also serves here to set up the router so that I don't dig it down too deep, and it works just so well. It really does. Now here is a picture of that jig sitting on the edge of the bracing, and as you can see, I can move that thing back and forth from side to side to make sure there's no rock. And where it's sitting here on this particular back, there is no rock. And the reason for it on the angle at the top is so that when I get in near where that piece is curved, it will still, or coming down on the diagonal, it will still allow me to get in there and make sure there is no movement at all, like it's at the right height. So we've got the right height, we got the right depth because of that particular jig. Now, once that is done, what you can see is the back here is being fitted, and it was just off center slightly. Now, the way I was able to repair that, which was kind of neat, what I did is I was able to take a little bit off one side and the opposite side, so I actually shifted it like this. And that worked out well, so we ended up getting our center line back up in here and our center line in here. And I know that this is straight because of the way we put that in, and you'll see that in a previous video. So it's all good. It worked out extremely well. Next thing that came up was to set up the back for gluing, and in order to do that, I put these small little pieces I have that are basically about 1 inch square or 1.5 inch square. They have cork on the one side, and on some of them I've drilled into it so that those go bars actually go in it and they can't move anywhere. But I do want to show you, these are the pieces that we use as a caul to run around on the particular guitar, and you'll see that all running around there in just a moment. The first 2 or 3 pieces that I like to glue is at the very top and at the very bottom, at the top and bottom, the front and the tail of the guitar. The reason for that, and they're doubled up so that there's more pressure on there, because I don't ever want this to fail, and I need lots of support on the particular pieces here so that they're really good and tight. You can see as I'm showing you here a picture of me, I've now finished this. I've got all the bracing in and around the guitar. I'll leave that, and I did for about 3 or 4 hours, and then I came back, removed it all, and then I got on to making sure that everything was perfect. Now, just before I left the room, I got underneath here, as you can see, and I made sure I could get any squeeze out with a dental pick, and you can pick those up at different hardware stores, or maybe even your dentist will give you some of his or her used dental picks that they don't have anymore. So once that's all off and it's back in its cradle, I then take the router and I run the router all the way around until I get it looking exactly the way I want it, nice and smooth. I'm using a flush cut bit in order to do this. And once it's done, it's nice and tight. It looks exactly the way we want it, and it's all good. But I'm telling you, I will never do the back again where I set this thing down and I mark those side pieces. When I do the top, I'm going to show you how I should have done the back, because I'll do it properly on the top. Now, I want to show you something else. Right here, you can see a line. Maybe you can see it. I'm not sure you can. It's pretty good. That line is the bottom of the armrest. I need to know where that is, because I am going to, when I eventually cut this, I'm cutting down this way and up again. But I don't want to go anywhere near that line. I've got to stay away from that line. The way I got to that line was to use this tool here. And this is just a marking gauge. But what I did is I took a pencil and I taped a pencil on here. And then I simply put that, tightened this up like so. And then I just ran this right around the bottom of that edge. And what it did is it gave me my pencil line exactly what's inside the guitar. So I know where that is. I know what that's going to look like. I'm happy with it, and it's going to have a future service for us. So it's all important. Now, let me tell you about one other issue. You've seen me put the tops together, as you saw me do the back here. This is our top that we're going to use on this guitar. Now, what I have done is I've traced the outline of the guitar down here. I had it done earlier, but you can see it doesn't matter. I'm going to be overcutting it anyway. I've come down in here, and I'm not happy with the distance between the sound hole and here. Now, here's the thing. The bigger the sound hole, the more treble you're going to get out of this thing. The smaller the sound hole means it's a bigger area down here. My hand's shaking like crazy today. It's down here, and this area is what gives you your bass. So if I was to make this bigger, coming down like this, you have less area in here, less bass, more treble. The key in building a guitar is to get this in the right position, the right size, because it will blend so that you have even tone all the way through your guitar in the midsections and up in the treble as well as the bass. Now, my solution to fixing this was to do this. I knew I could move the sound hole, but it would affect the bass. I don't want to, because this is a maple guitar and it's going to have more treble to it than bass, but the bass will open up, no question about that. So what I decided to do was to make the sound hole a little smaller, which would move me further away from here. Well, I made it smaller by 1/8 of an inch. And then what I did is I thought, well, okay, I've made it smaller, which means I've got more bass, right? Because it's a smaller hole now. But I don't want more bass. I want the same blend I get in all of my guitars. So what I did is I moved this sound hole down 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to give me exactly what I had originally, and it's going to open this up by almost 1/4 of an inch, and that's perfect. That allows me to put a rosette around here. It allows me to do the shell, which we're going to do all in and around here. And maybe we'll get into something really fancy on here. I don't know yet. I haven't quite figured that out, but we'll get to that as soon as I can figure that out. All right. That's it for me today. Don't think I've gone anywhere, by the way. The thing was, I know you're getting lots of viewing. You're getting all kinds of people sending you their channel and you know, their videos and telling you to watch this and watch that. And I don't want to be one of those. I want it to post on a regular basis. I want you to enjoy it and to view it and to comment on it. I enjoy your comments, but I don't want to inundate you with stuff that you don't want to watch. So this is this video is done a little differently than what I've done in the past. Part of the problem is when you're doing something in the shop, it's best to do everything like I did on this at the one time, because once you've cut the wood, I can't go back and recut it, and I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, so I do that. Anyway, all of that to say, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue building guitars, and we got that electric yet. I've kind of come to a decision that it's going to be a blue guitar, and I'll be picking up some paint and whatnot, and we'll be spraying that probably in another video or two. Now, there are links down below. We need to have a tea with Monty, so if you've got some questions, by all means, please send in your questions and send them to teawithmonty@gmail.com. And I would like to know if you got any tips for safety in the shop. So send that along. You'll see the link down below. And if you have any general questions that you want to ask, unrelated to putting on the video, then by all means just use tryitnow1940gmail.com and follow me on Instagram. If you haven't, there's almost 1,700 pictures up there. So if you want to see all of this in detail as I'm going along, even before we do the video, you'll get to see a lot of that on Instagram. And by all means, make sure you get yourself some English breakfast tea. That's it for me today. Thanks very much. Appreciate you showing up and looking at what we're doing in here. I'm going to put this up behind me, and we're going to get on to the top. So I'll see you in the next video.